Hello people, it's your boy Osman back again with another video. Manchester United 0, Watford 2, absolute disgraceful result. The performance itself was an absolute joke. You know, the reaction would have been out earlier, but I could not get it out because I was very busy with our radio show slash podcast, which we do weekly. Yes, I have uploaded some on this YouTube channel, but from now on I am going to upload them on my other channel, which is also shared by my brother and Keishan, so feel free to check it out. It's all things football. I will leave a link in the description, so check that out, drop a like, subscribe. But that aside, Manchester United absolutely shambolic. Where did it go wrong? Who is to blame? I am going to give my honest opinions on all things Manchester United. A lot of things in this video are just my opinion. I know a lot of people probably won't agree with some of what I am saying, but I want you to hear me out. First and foremost, you know, I'm going to be real. I'm going to keep it 100% real. I'm not going to sit on the fence. I'm going to say exactly how it is. Okay, so a lot of people are Ollie Out. I'd approximate that to be about 95%. I'm not going to sit on the fence. I do have issues with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. My issues are mainly concerned about, you know, some of the things he's saying after the press conference, actually, after the game. Sorry, they're my main concerns. I'm not really happy with his demeanour after the game. He seems too nicey. For me personally, he's starting to remind me a lot of Arsene Wenger in the sense that he's kind of protecting the players. Yes, okay, behind closed doors, he might be having a go at his players, but for me personally, I'm not saying throw your players under the bus by all means, because I'm massively against that, but for him to come out after the game and say things like, you know, oh, we were it's small margins, you know, we could have won, little things like that. You know, let's just be real. We didn't deserve to win the game. You know, we could have probably won the game. We had enough chances at the end of the game, in particular when Pogba came on. But let's make no mistake about it. We did not deserve to win the game. It was very similar to the Sheffield United performance where we were 2-0 down. It was absolutely terrible against Sheffield United, and then we sprung into life. We had a good 10-minute period, and then we ended up drawing the game. We did not deserve to win that game. You know, obviously we drew that game in the end, but it was exactly the same. We did not deserve to win this. If we got a draw at this game, I suppose you could argue that would probably have been a bit fair. But nevertheless, I'm quite content with us losing this game because I don't want those players to have any satisfaction of getting some dodgy win, especially when they're not, you know, putting the performance that, you know, match the shirt basically. They're not fit to wear the shirt. A lot of the players aren't fit to wear the shirt. Again, I'm not going to be overly critical of the players because at the same time, it's not their fault they're not good enough. You know, they're getting picked week in, week out. Who is to blame for that? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is definitely to blame for that. My first criticism of Ollie, well, two concerns, criticism. First one was the fact that Greenwood didn't start. If I'm not mistaken, he's got 4 goals in his last 3 games. He's on, you know, we're very much lacking goals at the moment. If Rashford doesn't score or Martial doesn't contribute in some way, shape or form, who else in our team scored? Because Jesse Lingard hasn't scored all year, if I'm not mistaken, in the Premier League. Also, Daniel James is on a bit of a barren streak when it comes to goals. You know, Fred hasn't even scored this season. McTominay affair has contributed a couple of goals here and there, but that's not his role. Lindelof has got 1 goal. Maguire missed another sitter. Obviously, the fullbacks aren't going to get up and score or even create for that matter. So we've literally got 2 goal threats in the whole team. So for me personally, him not playing Greenwood, I thought that was an absolute joke. He had to warrant a start, especially against a team that is, you know, what we would expect them to sit back, play low block, as Jose Mourinho would say, and you know, just sit back and hit on the break. And again, nothing wrong with that. I would do that if I was them as well. You know, Man United are incapable of breaking a team down, so that it makes a perfect sense. So why not play someone like a Greenwood who has got the capabilities of scoring an individual goal like he's done in the last couple of games? You know, scoring out of nothing basically. And obviously James isn't in the team to do that. He's very good on the break, and his overall work rate is fantastic. But against these kind of oppositions, he's not really going to be effective, which is exactly what we saw in this game. Nevertheless, again, the system is all wrong. You could argue we haven't got the players to play a system that Ollie potentially wants to play, but even when Pogba has been fit, he has been very persistent with the 4-2-3-1. And for me personally, against the bigger teams, I'm all for the 4-2-3-1. It sets us up with a nice base for us to have the front 4 to go and express themselves. But against teams that shouldn't really be dominating or causing us much pressure, i.e. the Watford Watfords, the Bournemouths, the Aston Villas. I suppose you could put Sheffield United in there, although I massively rate Sheffield United. You know, the lesser teams, with all due respect, the teams that should be fearing us, obviously they don't, but the teams we should control the game against, we have to play 4-3-3. It's an absolute no-brainer. This was another game he had to play 4-3-3, even if that meant Pereira comes into the team, or to be fair, not Mata. I think his legs are gone, God bless his soul. But I think even Pereira, I know he's been terrible. I'm not saying he's a good, viable option, but he's a lot better than Jesse Lingard in these kind of games, because Jesse Lingard has not got the ability to unlock a defence. Whatever you say about Pereira, he's got good delivery from set pieces, which is something he definitely does offer the team. Lingard, for me, is not going to offer much in this game, as we saw again. So that was two very much fatal errors. But the second my frustration, it has to be with the players. At the end of the day, right, a lot of people blaming Ollie, and for those who think I can blame Ollie, but a lot of the blame has to be on the players. Let's stop, sugarcoating it and protecting the players. Yes, Ollie is to blame as well. I'm not denying that. Yes, Ollie might not be the right person, but these players have been at Manchester United, some of them, for a very long time, and they're not shown anything that makes me believe they're good enough to wear the shirt. As a Manchester United player, you have to be good consistently, week in, week out. That's just the nature of the football club. We're a massive club at the end of the day. History-wise, currently we definitely aren't run or acting like a massive club. Make no mistake about it. We're acting like a mediocre club, which is exactly what we are right now. But it's down to the players at the end of the day as well. Yes, people will say Ollie's tactics are wrong, and I completely understand that sentiment. But at the same time, when we can't break down Watford, we struggle to break down Colchester United, who are a League 2 team. The only way we got through Colchester United was the fact that they hit us on an attack or hit us on a break, and then we actually counter-attacked them. Prior to that counter-attack goal, which is very well taken by Rashford, we created next to nothing chances because there was setback, and there was that come on them, man, that try and break us down. We're incapable of breaking two teams down, and for me personally, it's an absolute disgrace that we're playing two DMs against any team, in the bottom half of the table, including Arsenal, who are a dead team as well. So coming back to my initial point, the players, not enough creativity in that team. We all know that going into the start of the season. I'm pretty sure myself and 95% of the fan base knew that our defence was not good enough. The board are definitely to blame for that. It's an absolute disgrace, the fact that, we've only been left with Fred, McTominay, Pereira, and Mata fit, basically. Obviously Gomez situation with that. I forgot Lingard as well. Absolute joke. Yes, I know Pogba's come back and he showed the quality that we've been missing. Played a couple of fantastic balls to Greenwood and Rashford. The ball should have scored, but on another day they probably would have. That isn't even the point. The fact is the board has let us down because they haven't given us quality. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, some of the stuff he's saying is really pissing me off, because at the end of the day he can't be saying stuff like, oh, the midfield is good enough, I'm happy with the midfield. You're not trying to throw the players under the bus, but what's wrong with saying we do need a couple of more additions? We're a bit light. We lost Herrera, we lost Fellaini, we haven't replaced them, because that would be fact. I think every single Man United player would be like, okay, that's fair enough, we've lost Herrera, we haven't replaced him. Just for squad depth alone, we've only got 5 midfielders basically, or 6 midfielders. For me, Matic don't count, his legs have gone as well. Mata again, legs are gone, so that means it leaves us with Lingard, Pereira, McTominay, Fred and Pogba. That's literally 5, and one of them, i.e. Pogba's been out for ages. So absolute shambles on that part. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to take responsibility for the way he set us up. I don't think it's correct. He has to go 4-3-3 against Newcastle. Otherwise, I just have nothing else to say regarding Ole. On top of that, a lot of the players need to get, removed from the club or sat on the bench because they're not fit to wear the shirt. Make no mistake about it. Again, I'm not going to pick individual names out because there's too many player names to go through. If anything, I'll probably be better off saying which ones are fit to wear the shirt, because it'll be a lot easier and a lot quicker. Obviously De Gea's getting a lot of stick on social media. Again, these mistakes regarding the De Gea one, it happens, man. At the end of the day, it happens. Yes, it is very frustrating. Yes, he hasn't had the best period in the last 18 months. But for me personally, the mistake against Man City, when Otamendi scored, went to make it 2-1 later on, that was more frustrating for me. And also the mistake against Everton, yes, that was a foul in my personal opinion, but again, his ability to come and collect the ball or punch the ball and come on his box, for me, that's more of a massive error than this one. This is just one of those mistakes. Anyways, for those of you who are thinking, if you're new here and you're watching the video and you're like, my man's wearing a Sheffield United shirt, basically I wait for Sheffield United, that's why. Anyways, that's my personal opinion. Ole has to take the blame regarding the system and some sort of team selection, but overall the players got to look at themselves as well and say, are we even good enough for this club? And on top of that, the board have to spend big in the next 2 windows. For me personally, you know, we're so far off the top. We need a couple of midfielders, and we just need strengthening in general. Anyway, that is my personal opinion of the whole situation. Of course, absolute disgraceful performance, disgraceful result. You know, it's an absolute shambles. Every time we get in a position that we can potentially capitalise on our nearest competitors dropping points, we capitulate and we bottling FC basically, practically. Regarding the Ollie Out situation, I'm an Ollie Out. I'll be honest with you guys, I think it's a combination of everything. If you got rid of Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer, will there be an instant impact? Potentially. Will it, long term, will it make a difference? Not really, because I think the new manager was, again, we need like 4 or 5 players to become a decent team. Pochettino could come in and do a job, but nevertheless, I think we will come under the same sort of bumps in the road because the lack of quality is evident. And I think that game against Watford, for me, indicated it more than ever. As soon as Pogba came on, we looked like a completely different team, and that's because Pogba is world class. And the people such as Lingard, Pereira, Mata, you know, whatever you say about them, they're just not good enough, basically. Anyways, that is my opinion. Drop a like, subscribe as always, and check out our new page, Agents Talking Football. Link in description. Peace.